Hello there, everyone. This is Mr. D coming to you with his Holy Chronicles, the ones that I'm going to go through the series of the Bible by verse, telling the story. I believe at this time we are at chapter 12 of Genesis of the Holy Chronicles, and I will be narrating it as I comment to how that may be looked at through our eyes or how we think God perceives it. As I said, I'm going to start off with chapter 12. Oh, if you haven't done so, please hit my little subscribe button down there. And that way you can get to the next one, and the next one, the next one. Someone was telling me it's like over 900 chapters in the Old Testament. If I could get out one chapter a day, I'd be done in 3 years. But if God can help push me through and do 2 or 3 a day, oh my goodness, I'd be done sooner. But then I have the New Testament and I have followers. Never know what God's going to want me to say until it comes up. So here we go. Chapter 12. Chapter 12 starts like this. Oh, this is where God calls Abraham to follow the Lord. Now, the Lord had said unto Abraham, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. Like the promised land that later on we'll find out with Moses, this is a land that God had for Abraham, for his people to be. And I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Verse 3, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curses thee, and in thee shall all families of all the earth be blessed. So Abraham departed as the Lord had, not glasses, I just don't like glasses, had spoken unto him. Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. I remember it. Haran was also, I believe, his brother. Let's jump back here. Yeah, verse 26 on chapter 11, it talks about Terah, his father, and about Abraham, Nahor, and Haran. So he says here, and not, let's see. Yes. And Abraham on verse 5. And Abraham took Sari his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan. Well, there they go, off to Canaan, and Abraham passed through the land unto the place of Sichem, unto the plains of Moreh, and the Canaanites was then in the land. We also find this in Hebrew and Deuteronomy. And the Lord appeared unto Abraham and said, unto thy seed, Abraham's seed, unto thy seed will I give this land, and there behind, and there builded an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. He built one there, and he removed from the thence unto a mountain on the east and Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on his west and Han on the east. And there he built an altar unto the Lord, and called upon the name of the Lord. And Abraham journeyed, going onto the still towards the south. But it says here, they were driven into Egypt because of a famine. So everything was not looking always so good. Well, there's a famine, but they have a place to go. In verse 10, it says here, and there was a famine in the land of Abraham, and they went down into Egypt, sojourned. There, where a famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass when he was come near to the enter into Egypt, and that he said unto Sarah his wife, and you don't want to do this, guys. He said to his wife Sarah, behold now, I know that thou art a fair, beautiful woman, I would imagine, fair woman to look upon. You know, man's desires. And they're going into Egypt. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see. Where are they? Look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass when the Egyptians shall see thee, and that they shall say, this is his wife, and they will kill me. Kill me. But they will save thee alive. But I want to say then, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. So he's going to use his wife as his sister. I don't know how many women would go for that. You know, men want to justify so they don't get killed, but they do it. I don't think God would exactly agree with that. That's something that I believe that if we were covering more religions that, of course, are not substance behind them, they copy a lot of what the Bible is, if you really dig into it. They say it's its own world, their culture, but they seem to follow the track of the creation of God and down the ladder. So he told them he was his sister. Can you believe that? I think I would, I think my wife would shoot me if I did that. Okay, to save my soul. And it came to pass on verse 14 that when Abraham was come into Egypt, and the Egyptians beheld the woman, and it was fair, that the princes also of the Pharaoh saw her and commended her before the Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into the Pharaoh's house. You know, go to night, go to sleep, taken into her house. She's a free woman. So the Pharaoh took her into his house, and he entered, and he treated Abraham well for her sake, because she was, you know, this is my influence, because she was beautiful. Treated him nice because he liked the woman, and was taken to the house of the Pharaoh. And he treated Abraham well for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen, and he asses and men servants and maid servants and she asses and camels. And the Lord got unhappy, I would imagine, because it says here in verse 17, and the Lord plagued the Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Now, it doesn't say if he went into her. It just says that he took her. And I would imagine that God was right there before it happened and made sure the Pharaoh knew what was going on, that he was doing something very bad. And Abraham and the Pharaoh called Abraham. He wants some answers, you know, and said, what is this that thou hast done unto me? I did thus not tell me that she was thy wife. Why saidst thou, she is my sister? So I might have taken her to me to wife. Now, therefore, behold thy wife, take her and go thy way. Oh. And the Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all he had. They didn't want him around because of what he did, and God wasn't happy that Abraham, even though Abraham was chosen by God, Abraham did a dumb thing like us men do, you know, like the world does. So I would have to say that we don't learn. We still do it. We still try to justify our wife doing something or we're doing something to protect us, maybe getting in trouble, or an opinion of somebody that we know. I would say that this is a very good lesson that Abraham learned, was to trust in God. To trust that God was there because God stepped in. And I imagine the plagues, it doesn't mention it here in the Bible with the word, but I'm sure the plagues weren't very nice. It'd be nice to know how bad he got zapped, but he was a man too. I don't think he was meaning to do anything wrong. It doesn't say the Pharaoh tried to do something wrong. It just said he wasn't told the truth. Well, our journeys with Abraham did continue. Now we're going to step into chapter 13, because I'm going to do this one on two chapters, chapter 12 and chapter 13, because they both have to do with Abraham. And they're very interesting. Abraham, the father of our nation, Israel. I don't think he's Israel. Abraham was Jacob. Father. We'll find out. I'm reading this Bible just like you guys. And as it goes, I get smarter and you get smarter. So we go into chapter 13, and it says in my Bible, and Abram, it's not Abraham yet, Abram returned to Canaan. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle and in silver and in gold. And he went on his journey from the south, even to Bethel, onto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hay, under the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord God. I said God, because the Lord is God, God our Savior. Abram and Lot being separated. I think they go a different way. I think that they kind of find their place that they want to set up family and stuff like that. And it goes like this. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together. Not a big enough. All these people on this, you can't get them together because there's too many. So they got to have more land. Okay? And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram cattle and the herdmen of Lot. And the Canaanites and the Perizzites dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, let there be no strife. I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my brethren and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself. I pray thee from God, if thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. And if thou departs to the right hand, then I will go to the left. That was verse 9. That was very kind of Abraham. Wouldn't you say? Very simple-minded, trusting God. Wherever he went, God would be there. Going into verse 10, it says here, it talks about where Lot's going to go. Lot lifted up his eyes, and he beheld on the plain of Jordan that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest on to Zoar. Must have been beautiful. They describe it almost like a garden Eden. I didn't know Sodom and Gomorrah could have been pretty around them. I always think of them at myself because, movies and stuff, the Sodom and Gomorrah was kind of, deserty and stuff. But, Bible says that it was nice around there, it sounds like. Then Lot chose him all the plains of Jordan and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other, and Abram dwelling in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelling in the cities and the plains, and pitched his tent towards Sodom. And the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners, sinners before the Lord exceedingly. Almost sounds like Noah all over again. It doesn't seem like the world ever changes. It just, the wickedness of Satan just keeps on driving through and through and through. It just doesn't stop. Stop. One day coming soon, it will stop. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes and look from the place where thou art, northward and southward, and eastward and westward, for all the land which thou seest. Look, see, seest. To thee will I give it, and to thy seeds forever. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. Arise, walk through the lands in the length of it, and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. Then Abram removed his tent, and came and dwelt in the plains of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord. Into chapter 13. So they both sound like they got a good place to live. Separate all their stuff. And I know that the people have referred to these people like this as nomad without a home, but I think they moved their home, from location to location. And maybe this kind of living was really good and clean, fresh air, not like the wicked. But they both found a place, Lot near Sodom, and Abraham near Canaan. I think that's what he said, near Canaan. He pitched his tent up, do. I'm pretty sure that in verse 12 of chapter 13, it states here, Abram settles in Canaan. And that's where we leave with chapter 13. And I'm going to see you when we do the chapter 14 coming up. Trying to remember sometimes which verse I'm on, because I read these over to hopefully not miss what they're saying in the Bible. And the Bible that I'm reading out of is, let's see, it's an authorized version of sort of King James, but it's nice. This is Mr. D, and I will see you on chapter 14. Take care and God bless you.